Guys, today's Robert's going to take us down to the lower Riverside Park, located at the South Hadley Canal in South Hadley, Massachusetts.
Okay, now I'm going to show you wonderful things today. So follow along and see what's in there. We're heading toward the gate from the town's public parking lot. And sorry about that, sun is brutal today. Okay, I know it's very dark right in this part right here. Down in this portion right here is actually part of the input of the side canal, which starts at the beach grounds area, goes below the Vietnam Veterans Bridge, and comes up here. The first lock is about to start, and on the other side of this roadway in, that's where the first lock would have been, to raise up the boats. One of 5 locks to raise the boats. So, Lower Riverside Park is part of a 3-park system built to show off the former mills and the former canals that were in this location. And this structure will show you those canals. It says welcome to Lower Riverside Park, and then it shows you the Lower Riverside Park right here. All 3 parks are called Riverside Park together. Texon Mill Park and Gatehouse Park have their own stops. And we're going to go down to one of the 2 locations in here that are very good to show off the properties of the canal. The other one is where the canal locks were located, but we're going to go find those old-time mills. Well, one of them was right on this greenway up here. After a lot of small ones burned down in 1846, the Ames made the first mechanical mill made to make paper. It was the first mechanized paper mechanism in the world. So South Hadley was paper town and Holyoke was paper city. Now we're going down here, and if you had come here anytime from 1805 to 1846, there would have been a lot of small mills in a row. I believe there were 8 of them in a row that made shingles and plaster and grist up the wheat. And they crushed rocks. And they cut up, a sawmill cut up logs into lumber. Now in this location over here, we're going to take the left, but in the right portion, and all the way through that gate was a mill called the Hampshire Mill, that from 1862 until about 1905 was there, and then it was substituted by the Stevens Mill, and up to 1970 it was there. Okay, we're on the final roadway, and now if you had come out here, you would have found shingle mills. You can see the edge of, well, the Connecticut River is out there. You can see the edge of a rock face. That's where the Glasgow Mill in 1848 took over this location. All the small mills had burned down, and the large one, the Glasgow, came in. 1848 to 1895 they came in. Then, after about a wait of 7 years, from 1902 to I believe it was 40, there was another mill that came in called the Hamden Paper Mill. I'm sorry, Hamden Cotton Mill. So there's 2 cotton mills in this area in a lot of history, and one mill that did paper. Now you can see this channel. If you are a great bird watcher, you'd love to come here, because that's what you do in this location, bird watch a lot. They'd be out in the river, they'd be in this little channel here, right? It's very slow water, and some of the birds love it. You'll see eagles and great blue herons, among many other kinds of birds. So it's gorgeous in there, and people love it, especially early morning and late night. And there's a lot of nature study in there too, of flowers, bushes, and trees. And then this block right here, this came off the top of the dam in the year 1936. An enormous ice jam in Northampton came free. The iceberg came down here, knocked off the top of the dam, and they had to redo it, but they left some of these blocks out of place, and they just made new ones. So there would have been, from the early 1800s to 1846, 8 little mills out here. All of them right along this ridge. I just gave you the names of some of them and what they did. And then there was the Glasgow Mill, the largest mill ever in the history of South Hadley. It was so large that it needed its own worker housings, and almost all of High Street and School Street were filled up with Glasgow working houses. Another top of the old dam. Okay, so if people come to this part of the park for a lot of good reasons, and make sure you catch all 4 of the stops inside of this Riverside Park. For the Carew Mill, the Texon Mill, that's one part. The Gatehouse Park is another one. The lock system is another one. The Glasgow Mill and this part is called Lower Riverside Park. Brings you right down to the riverside itself. It also happens to have the location where the lock system is. Alright, so zigzag yourself back out of this sub-park and back up, and the next thing you can visit from here is the wonderful lock system. And that lock system, I have its own stop and I have its own explanation. It was a wonderful 5-lock system that raised the boats 30 feet. And I'll end the video by showing you where to zigzag the last one. So when you carefully get to the top of this little subhill, take a left and go over to the corner where it looks like a gate going up. That's where the lock system is. Thank you very much.